Often on social media, I hear people talking about all the highs and lows of cybersecurity and getting into the field. However, I don't necessarily really hear people talk about why there's a need for it. Hey, everybody, I'm Light, and I'm here to talk about all things software security. Now, you're probably asking yourself or saying to yourself, it's pretty obvious why we need cybersecurity. And I'd be pressed to believe you were talking about that from either a country cyber defense aspect or just because you have an account online. And to be honest, you'd be right. However, I just don't think that actually draws a clear picture for everyone as to why cybersecurity is essential to the digital society. Literally more than meets the eye when it comes to cybersecurity. And I'd like to explore that. So come along this journey with me. It's going to be a 3 to 4 part series about the global internet, cybersecurity, cyber laws, how you stem away and get policies from that, and what application security teams do to help enforce that. And we're going to go even deeper. We're going to be even deeper to talk about why this whole shift left idea is even important. Like this whole shift left, this whole shift left mindset is important. So first off, I'm not going to bore you and talk about a time in which I wasn't even born or even thought about, let alone, conceived. I don't know. I wasn't there when the internet was created. So you can go and check out all other videos on and how and why the internet was created. You'll learn a lot of stuff. All the things you need to know about the start of cryptography, military usage of the internet, and then how it turned into public use, MySpace, and blah, blah, blah. But by the end of your search, you'll discover why the internet is insecure by default when it comes to legacy or outdated software. I don't really necessarily care to talk about that and won't. So my thing is more, I'm trying to piece together a different story because those historical references don't necessarily tell me why a developer in 2023 has to be more mindful of privacy laws when configuring session tracking cookies for European countries. So a lot of time has passed since then, and we're going to talk about it. So why cybersecurity? Let's be frank. The internet is global now. I'm in the United States, and just by connecting to a VPN, I can act like I'm somewhere in Japan web browsing. I have online access to South Korean markets. I can start a business in Europe without even being there. And you can connect to me, and you're probably somewhere in South Africa. By the way, shout out to all the South Africans who've watched my YouTube channel. Thanks for your support, and I'm greatly appreciative. So that's my little, yeah. All right, but anyway, my point. The imaginary lines that, we've drawn our world maps on, or we've drawn on our world maps, are finally starting to get erased due to the rise of digital space. But just because those lines are getting wiped doesn't mean the boundaries are too. Wait, what did you just say? What I'm saying is, the lines on the map that separate us may be imaginary, but the governments within those lines are not. So governments dictate what's acceptable within those borders, regardless of the presence being digital or physical, which means alongside laws regarding physical presence, like don't stab a person, don't kill a person, don't rob a person, or XYZ will happen, there are laws regarding digital or cyber presence. These laws determine how companies, people, and even other governments, which we're going to stay away from that topic, are allowed to exist within a country's digital space, given their cyber rules. So what this means? This means each country has its own set of cyber regulations. Given the geopolitical relationships and the extensive international business conducted, there are not only national cyber regulations, but national cyber regulations. That sounds odd. But also rules that apply to specific groups and nations, which is the national cyber regulation. So I guess country, um, United States, so it's one nation under a groove. Moreover, like there are generally accepted minimum cybersecurity standards that all nations within an online presence must adhere to. So, like for an example, cybersecurity standards across all nations, all countries, all whatever. Uh, there's a common idea of illegal hacking or unauthorized hacking is bad, and yes, I said illegal hacking because all hacking is not bad, and you can pretty much check your online bug bounty programs and websites to get a better understanding of that. But essentially, under given authorized, uh, like under scope and authorization, companies allow people to hack or find vulnerabilities within their digital landscape, and so that's considered, as long as you stay within those boundaries and, make yourself known and don't try to blackmail the company to give you money, you will probably more than likely receive some type of financial reward for finding vulnerabilities that way. So that's a legal way of hacking. But there's an illegal way of hacking, which is not along those terms. However, illegal or unauthorized and unethical hacking is bad. And so, regardless of what country you're in, we understand that. Even though in some countries it may not look that way because, they tend to get hacked all the time or, just a lot of cyber crime happens. It is. Like, it's still understood that illegal hacking is bad. So it just comes down to the country's ability to enforce said cyber laws, which is why there are government cyber defense teams. So not just in the event of cyber wars, though, but also to go after people in other countries who commit crimes in their jurisdiction. So, for example, let's say a person from country X is hacking a company in country Y, given the offense, like they steal $50,000 from this company, or maybe $1 million from this company, or even a lot of sensitive data from this company. Country Y's government, well, first off, the company will more than likely report that to their government, and because they're obligated. Let's not forget, like companies are obligated to the government because cyber law. But they're obligated to report that to the government. The government, depending on how bad the offense is and depending on what country you're in, will more than likely take that offense and work alongside country X's, because remember, country Y's government, their cyber defense team will work alongside country X, where the person lives that committed the offense, be working with their cyber defense team to take down that person. Because there are still rules of engagement and workings around the cyber defense as well. It's all a little complicated, and I'm giving you a very, very high, very high level understanding of how this all works. But yeah, all this to say, you have to navigate the digital space properly. And because it has an impact on citizens or civilians or however you want to identify. And the digital space is just another way to exist outside of the physical. And so that needs to be governed and regulated. And governments that have both a physical and digital space needed to create laws and policies that companies and people within and visiting through these digital devices or whatever, like your phone, these digital borders to abide by. And this is cyber law, and this is pretty much cybersecurity. There are many branches of things that need to be protected because it's digital and everyone has access to it. You have accounts with companies; those need to be protected by the company. You're online; you need to protect yourself and abide by government laws. You visit other sites. you need to abide by their laws. Otherwise, you could end up getting a knock on your door from that country's government. I don't know. The government of the country you're breaking laws in, digitally speaking, that is. So this includes websites, web applications, mobile apps, Internet of Things or IoT devices. So, just be mindful. But that's pretty much it. And if you didn't get the point, here's a TLDL, or too long, don't listen. The internet connects us all. And though there is this universal standard against illegal and unauthorized hacking, each country has its own cyber laws. The digital realm, the impact of the digital realm on individuals and businesses necessitates protection and adherence to these laws. And whether it's about online presence or engaging within different countries' digital spaces, it needs to be taken into account. And essentially, this is why cybersecurity is crucial. So, hope that helps you understand what cybersecurity is and why it's this big, vast thing that nobody seems to have the best handle on, because it's huge, to be honest. So, next time, like I said, this is a part of a 3-part series. We just talked about one global internet. So next time, we're going to dive deeper into policies that are derived from the cyber laws, standards and frameworks. We're not going to go too deep into it, but we're going to talk about how they stem from cyber laws, and then take it a step further and see how companies, in the next video after that, how companies actually utilize these standards and policies to then create their own company or organization policies and standards that you as an employer would more than likely have to abide by. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.